Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to Jarrett Talk Interview. As I interview people that have a YouTube channel or a business, or things like that. But today, tonight, on two out of my three of my interviews left of 2024, I have one of my special guests today. He is a not I won't say a diehard Falcon fan, a diehard Georgia fan, a diehard Hall of Fame, you name it. Representing ATL, Gideon, Terry, how you doing, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So tell the folks that do not know about you and your channel.
Okay, well, we cover, I would say, most of Atlanta sports. So if you're a Hawks fan, if you're a Falcons fan, if you're a Braves fan, if you're a Dogs fan, if you're an Atlanta United fan, we typically have something for you. The bulk of our coverage is going to be Falcons, Hawks, Braves, sometimes Dogs, but yeah, man, we just keep everyone abreast as to what's going on. We talk about the issues that each team is having. We talk about the challenges that they face via trade or free agency or whatever is going on with that particular team. That's what we talk about.
So when you start doing your sports channel, what year did you start your sports channel, and did anybody want you start your YouTube channel? Did somebody tell you to start your YouTube channel, or did you started it on your own?
Yeah, I did it on my own. I've always wanted to do it. I was blessed. I was blessed to get in this business. I've been trying to get in this business probably for about 3 years. And my brother, Eric Parker, is very well known in the Falcon community. And I think he was talking with another friend of ours, Mr. Jack Spade, who is basically the proprietor for One Time for the Fan, a popular podcast essentially about the Falcons. And, Jack gave me a tryout, and I started there. And I think I might have done One Time for the Fan for about 3 months. And then I got started on my own channel and, got my own podcast. And I think now I think I'm on three different podcasts now. So there's One Time for the Fan, which airs typically Sunday nights at 9, Wednesday nights at 9, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. There is The Beard Gang, which airs 2:30 p.m. I'm sorry, 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights. And then there's my channel for my ATL Sports One, the number four, my ATL Sports, and the number one on YouTube. And we air programming typically 7 p.m. on Fridays and 8 a.m. Monday morning. So we have a preview before the game, and then after the game the next day, that morning, we typically talk about what happened, whether it's a win or loss or everything that went on essentially. But that's about it.
So were you nervous when you started doing this Falcon journey? Were you nervous when you start going when you got on here and talking about this Falcons this sports thing?
Not at all. I've been I've been talking Falcons for the better part of my life. I was a corporate trainer in my corporate career for a good 15, 20 years. So I'm not ashamed to get up and talk in front of anyone. Crowds don't intimidate me. I mean, plus it's not like you're directly in front of people. You're really just talking in front of a microphone and what a camera, whatever equipment you have. So I wasn't nervous. For me, it was just about making sure that the programming and the content that I put out was something that was digestible, was something that people would entertain, but also inform, and just finding that balance and building my subscribers a little bit at a time. But no, I wouldn't say I was ever nervous. No, sir.
So you took say when you got on YouTube, you just like I'm gonna do you do you have second thought of having a YouTube channel, or were you just like, okay, I want to see how this going I want to see how this YouTube thing if it didn't work out, what was another occupation where you want if you weren't doing this, if you weren't doing this.
Well, I mean, I do have a job. I do work for a telecommunications carrier, so that's what I do essentially for my career. But for this was a labor of love, so failure was
Mm-hmm.
never an option. You know what I mean? It was never an option. There was not anything else. I mean, I have other passions, but
Mm-hmm.
this is something that I wanted to do. This was a promise I made my mother. And so no, it was there was no other option, you know. And not that I've made it. I mean, I'm out here just like everybody else. It's tough, but you know, I mean, hey, I get up, I get after it just about every day. Usually what? Monday, Tuesday. I'm typically on somebody's podcast every day during the week except Thursday. And then on Sunday, you know, and if I'm
So
not
when,
go, I'm
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No, no,
Go
no.
ahead.
If I'm not doing that, then I'm preparing for a show, right? So when you know, a lot of people with well, not a lot of people, but some people assume that you know when you are a podcaster, you just get up and talk. And Jared, as you know, that's not true. There's a lot that goes into it, right? There's the
Right.
shorts that you have to put out there, the short content burst to kind of advertise your channel so people will come
Mhm.
to it. And then there's the content itself that you actually have to work on. You know, your templates as far as how your programming looks. There's a lot that goes into it. So yeah, typically if I'm not on somebody's podcast, then I'm working to present my show, which is Friday and or Monday. So that's yeah, that's about it. But go ahead, Jared. I'm sorry, you had something.
So when you were doing your like before you get on YouTube or anything, do you ever like write down what the like what the sports casters on TV, that the news sports reporters talk about, and then and you write down what they say, and then you put it to your own words, and then and you put it out on your channel.
No, I'm not gonna say I write down what they say. I have my own opinion, right?
But
You know, a lot of sportscasters, especially for national media, they have their own agenda,
mm,
right? They have their own
mm,
agenda. So I'll give you an example. Kirk Cousins, as you know, is no longer the starting quarterback. He had a really bad 5 weeks, and the Falcons decided to bring on Michael Penix. And I'm reading stories today. Well, you know, this is a catastrophic failure. This is not a failure. It didn't work out with Kirk. Look at if we go back 6 months and we look at who the Falcons were going to sign or what their choices were, you had
mm,
three choices essentially. You had Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kirk Cousins, right? Russell Wilson was not coming to Atlanta. Anybody who knows Russell Wilson knows that Sierra is his wife, and you know, Future is her baby mama. And with Atlanta being the type of transient place it is,
mm,
it just wouldn't have worked out. Because the first time Russell missed the pass, it was going to be future this and future that. It was not going to be a good environment. Russell Wilson was not coming to Atlanta. So if Russell's not coming to Atlanta, the only choice you have is between Justin Fields and Kirk Cousins. And looking at their resumes, Kirk typically throws for about 3,800 to 4,000 yards a year. Justin, not so much. And that's not to say Justin can't be successful. That's just saying, looking at what was available, Kirk Cousins was your best option. Now, obviously, it didn't work out. You could say that's for a litany of reasons, but the bottom line is I would not call it an embarrassment or uh, a failure of sorts because the Falcons, that was the best that was available. I'm glad they drafted Penix because if you didn't, you'd be stuck with Kirk, right?
right.
So I'm answering your question to say I digest some of that information, but the thoughts that come are mine, right? I don't need to depend on them because understand every one of the national outlets has an agenda or a spin, right? In other
Right.
words, you know, if let's say that San Francisco had signed Kirk Cousins, I don't think you would have gotten, oh, this is an embarrassment. Oh, this is because San Francisco's franchise is looked at differently, right? Green Bay's franchise is looked at differently. So sometimes it's about who does what, right? So, you know, but no, to answer your question, the thoughts that come from me on any podcast that I'm on, they are mine. Now, I look at the programming? Absolutely. I mean, you can't be in this business and not. You have to have information. But my words and my thoughts pertaining to that are my own because I don't need an opinion from them. I've been watching the Falcons for 48 years. I'm 54 years old. I know my Falcons. I know my team better than they ever will. So I don't need their opinions on my team. Matter of fact, if you want to know the truth, they probably need mine because I'm closer to it. You get what I'm saying? So
But do you ever when you do your live and you have your panel of four six people at least I know the same people, including there's one that I need to get interviewed with. Do you ever sit down after you get done with your live on YouTube? Do you ever like run your live back and take notes of your progress? And it's
I
like a,
I do. Now I can't speak for my guests or the guys that I work with on the show.
mm,
I don't
mm,
know. I can't speak for them. I know I do because number one, I'm always trying to get better, and I'm probably my hardest critic. So yeah, I do. A lot of times I'll go back and watch, some of my shows, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that was pretty good, and sometimes I'm like, oh, what were you thinking? Oh my God, get that, you know what I mean? Which I think everybody does, I mean, unless you're just great and you never make any mistakes. But I mean, I typically go back and I'm trying to get better. The goal in anything is to be the best at it. So, and when I say the best, I don't mean I'm trying to be better than anyone. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. Does that make sense?
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do
So
you ever do you
go
ever
ahead.
make you ever like doing the film of yourself watching
Mhm.
yourself doing live and talk about the sports and everything? Do you ever like write down the note? I mean, write down the notes of what could what could have done better or what can do make the live better on your channel? Like you ever sit down and talk about it and think about it?
Yeah, I do, but not so much on myself because I know me and I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. I know what I'm good at. I know what I need improvement on. But more so when I take notes, it's about the flow of the show, right? So typically on my shows, and these are shows that are on my channel, we typically have
Mhm,
segments, right?
mhm.
For each show, we have segments because on my shows it's at least four of us, and you can't have a bunch of people just talking at the same time. So we typically have segments, and basically, little segments in the show, or essentially a particular part in the show where each cast member has their thing that they present, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I go back and I look at the show and I look at how the segments went, right? I look at the interactions between each of the podcast members, right? I look at, okay, well maybe this would be better here or this would be better there. But that's when I'm judging it, that's what I do. When it comes to myself,
Hmm.
sometimes I'll look at it and I just say, hey, you needed more energy there, or that was too much energy, or whatever. But I don't necessarily write that down because I know me. Does that make sense?
That makes good sense.
Okay.
Um, do, do you have do you ever have like a very I see your show like a few times, like a few times. I really enjoy your show on YouTube. I really do. I just need to come there. I need to come there more often because I know you being there sometime. But do you ever get like a very, let's say do you ever or do you ever ask someone to be on your show, like a very special guest to be on your show? Like I'm telling everybody on my channel, it's my very special guest about stuff. So do you ever ask someone to be your like a exclusive guest
Yes.
to be on your show and like, hey, I want you on my show. I want to talk about this and stuff like that.
Yeah. I have had some guests on my show. Um, I do. Right. Honestly, to be honest with you,
Be honest, be honest.
right now I'm focusing on content. You get what I'm saying? Like, so on
Mm-hmm.
my show we have four permanent podcasters. There's myself, there's C Dub, there's Ladarius, and there's Ron. And so a lot of what we work on is content for our show. Now, will we have a special guest on? Sure, sure. But for now, the focus is on building up the content, building up the programming, building up the following for the show, And as we get to a certain point, then we will kind of bring on more special guests. You get what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
trying to get my stride with my podcast buddies or my podcast mates, right? I'm trying to, we're trying to put together a show that's so good that whether we have a special guest on or not, people want to tune in, right? And it's building. It's building. We've got a lot of positive feedback on the morning show and the Friday night show. But that's right now what we're focused on. That's priority one. It's just building up that show so that the following is so strong when we have special guests, it's good for the special guest because you got so many people watching. Does that make sense? I mean, I've been on One Time for the Fan, and we've had a lot of great guests on there. And I probably could have more special guests. It's just that that's not my focus right now. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to make
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to make a show that's so good that people are like, oh my God. Oh, you know what? It's for my ATL morning show. Look, whatever we're doing at 8 o'clock, it stops. You get what I'm saying? Oh, it's
Right.
7 o'clock Friday night. Well, hey, I'm gonna have to go to that movie a little bit later because you know that show. You know what I mean? And I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I want
Right.
to build it up to that point. Does that make sense?
And I completely agree with you. I understand.
Yeah.
That was like I came over there one time the and I mean honestly y'all was killing it. I mean first time me and you on YouTube and some reason actually no first I actually met you on Facebook and I was
Yeah.
like and the end was like okay he have a YouTube channel. I said let me find him on YouTube channel. And when I found your YouTube channel, like this man needs some help. Cause I know you had the most. I mean, you had what 16 people. I'm like, I want to help that boy. I want that boy out and get more people on your channel. I know. The grind. Look, I'm telling you, the grind on YouTube is
It's real.
crucial. I mean, it's hard to
It's
get
real.
people on it. It's
Tell
hard to
them,
get
say
people.
it again. It is. Hey, let me tell you something. If you are going to be a podcaster today, and you got to be tough, because hey, and you're right. You're talking about when I only had 16 subscribers. Look at man, it was tough. I remember when I first started. You know what I mean, and going
There you
live,
go.
and it's
Right.
just you, and you're talking to you, and you got to psych yourself out like you talking to a whole bunch of people, but it's still you. And in your mind, you're like, you are so stupid for doing this. What are you doing? You just talking to yourself. Ain't nobody watching it. Ain't nobody watching it. What do you? And you have to fight that internal dialogue. You get what I'm saying?
And
And
get
push
that
through.
doubt. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What helped me was that when I started for One Time for the Fan. And I think at the time I started, One Time for the Fan might have had about 500 subscribers. We now have about 1,200, I think, or we're closing in on 1,200.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to think I had a little bit to do with that, but I got the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. And one thing about Jack Spade is a great mentor, because he just gives you room. You know what I mean? Jack is not one of those that is going to stand over your back. He's not a micromanager. He's going to let you do what you need to do. And if he sees something, he's going to say, hey, you may not want to do that, or you may want to do this. So from a mentor standpoint, I couldn't have gotten a better person as a mentor. He's really great. And he's helped me a lot in setting up my channel. And, hey, you might want to do this. You might want to do that. And it's coming along. So I think I have about 123 subscribers now, which I thank God for every day. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. But I can remember when it was 16. I remember when it was 1. I remember when it was 2. I remember when it was 0.
You
I remember my
go.
first one when I went on there, my first podcast, and it was, oh my God. Oh, I'm just up
You
there, and
remember your very, so you remember your very first podcast, weren't you?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was awful. But
Okay.
the thing about it is, you don't know who you are as an artist until you get started, right? You get what I'm
Right.
saying? You don't,
Mm-hmm.
because you evolve. You evolve as a person. You evolve as a man or woman, or and you evolve as an entertainer. You evolve as a podcaster. So the stuff I was talking about 5-6 months ago, or 7-8, or a year ago, I look at things totally different now, right? Because now I'm considering, okay, well, I know I want to say this, but how's this going to register with my audience? Okay, well, maybe I say it this way, or maybe I say it that way, or whatever. And they're just things that you just have to grow up in this business, right? Like, I used to hate doing shows by myself. I hated it. Now I can do a show by myself. It doesn't bother me because I've grown to the point. Look at I know what's going to work. I know what's not going to work. And I know when to cut it off. You know what I mean? Like when you first start, you're just like, I'm just gonna turn this camera on and go. I'm just gonna tell them everything and da 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 da. Bro, that's a lot. Just talking by
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Just talking by yourself for like 20 minutes. Just try that. Next time you get a chance, go into your bathroom and just talk to yourself for 15 minutes and see how that goes. That's a long time, bro. So yeah, man, it's just growing in the business.
So I'm bring this back to your mentor. So did your mentor ever like did your mentor talk to you on the phone, or did he come to your house and like sit down and just and and talk to you about this YouTube journey that you're on right now, and tell you what you need to talk about on your channel, and
Um,
make it
so Jack and I probably talk maybe 3, 4, almost every day, because we have, so for One Time for the Fan, we have our own chat group, and it's just
mhm,
basically members of One Time for the Fan, which is Jack, of course, myself, Carrie, and Bodie 3000, or Bodie as we call him. And we
mhm.
talk every day, right? But when we need to, we talk over the phone, and we'll have certain conversations. Um, Jack was very instrumental in helping me set it up. But as far as like the content that I wanted to do, that's on me, right? So, we'll have conversations about things that impact us as podcasters, right? Like, oh, this happened or this happened or da 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 da. But typically everything that Jack and I discuss is basically, okay, well, we got this coming up. What are we going to do for here? Like, I'll have an idea for the show. He'll have an idea for the show. We'll talk about special guests. Now, One Time for the Fan has, we do a lot of special guests. We haven't this in the past few months because honestly, Jack's been traveling. Falcon's been on the road a lot. So Jack typically goes to every visiting game that they go to, with the exception of one. I don't think he's going to Washington, but he's always on the road. So we really hadn't had time to really put together a show and have a special guest, but I'm sure at the beginning of the new year we'll do that. So we talk about special guests, we talk about what's good for the show. Now if I have a question, I will call him, but as far as the content on my show, he pretty much leaves that to me, right? Because again, it's my show. So I mean, there's an understanding that I represent the brand and I represent One Time for the Fan. I also represent my brand. So I'm not going to go out here and do something stupid like rob a liquor store or anything like that. But, um, you know, other than brand representation, you know, Jack pretty much stays out of the way. He is really not a micromanager. That's what I love about him. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there you
So do you ever go live? Do you travel? I mean, do you travel with the Falcon when you go where the
I
Falcon go to or
no,
anything and you go live on there, or you just
I
stay
don't
home?
I don't travel. No, I don't, because
Like,
I my job is here, right? My job is here. So when I do these podcasts, I'm not doing them for employment, or I'm not being paid anything
mm-hmm,
monetarily yet,
mm-hmm,
right? You know how YouTube is. I mean, when we get there, when I get to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, we can have a
yeah,
conversation. But for now, it's just a labor of love, Jarrett. It's just something I do on the love, right?
right.
No, my job typically, I'm working, so I work about 6 days a week. So no, I don't travel.
So doing the 3 days of working at a real job, and then how often you on YouTube? Every other Sunday, or
probably on YouTube. Let me see. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So 5 out of 7 days I'm on YouTube.
And how long your pod like what was like the longest
Shoo! The
your,
longest podcast I've ever been on was on One Time for the Fan, and Scott Karisic was our special guest. And Scott can talk, man. Scott, let me tell you something. Scott can talk some Falcons, man. Scott, and you'll love it because you'll be like, yeah, Scott, what else you got? Scott is so knowledgeable. Scott is has a wealth of knowledge, but yeah, I think that show was like 3.5 hours. Like that was the longest show I was on, but typically, maybe 2 hours, right?
mm,
So, my morning show typically about 2 hours. The Friday night show, mine about 2 hours. The Sunday night show usually about an hour and a half. The Wednesday night show could be an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then the Friday morning show is about 2 hours, and then the Tuesday show I'm probably on there like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm out. But that's it.
that's definitely a grind. Do you ever like before you go live or anything? Do you ever sit there and think about what gonna you ever like sit down before before the camera coming on and the grunt the go live button goes up? Do you ever like sit down and meditate before you get the cameras and the people come in your chat?
I don't. I don't. I don't. I now what I do. I I
Like
don't.
what? Like,
Say,
what's your routine? What's your like your morning? Like what's your
my routine.
routine when you go
My
live?
routine. Well, Jared, I like to prepare. Right.
Right,
So I
right.
typically so One Time for the Fan, I do three different shows. Right. So for One Time for
Mhm.
the Fan, I'm a part of that show, but that is Jack's show. So Jack will send out the agenda. I will study the agenda and get together my questions, or not my questions, but the topics I want to talk about within that agenda, right? So let's say, we want to talk about, I'll give you an example. Coup going on the disabled list, right? I will write down the things that I want to discuss underneath that topic. So if Koo the kicker, he's on the IR, but he's probably been hurt for a while now. And on a recent podcast, my question was, well, do you guys even think he's coming back? Because a hip injury for a kicker is like a shoulder for a pitcher. It's very serious, and they don't necessarily always come back from that, right? So,
Right.
but that was something that I wrote down to discuss underneath that topic. That's typically what I'll do on One Time for the Fan. If we got a litany of topics that we want to discuss, I will typically write down what I want to say, or write down topics within that topic that I want to touch on and go over them. So then when we're live and on camera, it's not like just, oh, by the way, at least I've got a thought process I want to work through. If it's my show, I'm up preparing the night before. So I'm getting the topics that we're going to discuss, the information. If it's, on some of my shows, we have games like we'll have Falcons Jeopardy or whatever. So I'm getting that together. On one of my shows, we have a mystery caller, so I'm getting it together. So it just depends. If it's my show, it's more so preparation the night before, because you can't wait 20 minutes before the show to be like, whatever. I gotta send out the agenda to my, podcast mates.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's my show, I'm typically doing it the night before. If it is Beard Gang, which is the other show that I'm on, I typically just wait for C Dub to give me an agenda or whatever we're going to talk through. And same way I prepare for One Time for the Fan, I prepare for that, and that's typically it. But I don't meditate. I don't have a ritual. I just prepare. That's what I do. I prepare.
So like you say, when you get your stuff ready the night before, do you ever rehearse the topics or anything before the actual live come on? Do you ever rehearse and make sure you don't miss the word or miss the what you're gonna say before you go live?
Nah, I used to, but you gotta sleep sometime, man. I don't do that. I mean, I typically because I pretty much know what I'm gonna say, right? I just need to. For me, it's all about the thought process and the line of thinking that got you there, right? So, for example, let's say well, we're coming up on this Monday show. So, coming up on this Monday show, you have to have two different paths that you can go down for the programming. If we come out and we lose, then we got to talk about certain topics. If we come out if we and we win, then it's something else, right? Um, and so for me, it's more so just let's put together a show that's entertaining because you don't want to bore people, right? Nobody's gonna sit your channel
Right.
if you putting them to
Right.
sleep. Oh my God, this Terry guy, I hate him. Jesus Christ, you just can't do that, right? So it has to be entertaining, but it also needs to be informative, and you got to find that right mix, right? So it just depends. If we lose this upcoming Sunday, Falcon fans are going to be agitated and irritated, and they're going to want to talk more, right? So that program would kind of be like, okay, let's talk about this and how are you guys feeling, and it's more so going to be audience centric because essentially if we lose any of these three games, we're out of it, right? So now you got the death of a season. Which I hope doesn't happen because I really don't want to have those conversations, but it could, right? Now, if we win, it's great. And if we win, the content is more on, okay, well, let's think about the future and what about this and what about that? So it's really about just the Monday show is driven by the results on Sunday. The Friday show is more of a preview show, and it's more entertainment focused because we're gearing you up for the game you're about to see. Does that make sense? Good deal.
Mm-hmm. That make good sense. Do you? I know you said that when you when y'all come together, do y'all actually come to on your show? Do you ever? I know you said you sent the links out to everybody. Do you have a like a certain time for your guest to come on your show before you prepare before you go live or anything, or you just like what time the actual starts and people that come in and like what's your schedule what's your schedule
For
when you
that,
have your uh,
so if I got a special guest that let's say I don't know them,
mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna have them in the studio in the background probably 15 minutes prior. Now, if I know you and I've worked with you before and we have a good relationship, we can hop on there about 5 minutes before because I really don't have to prepare you for anything because we've worked together
Right.
before, right? But if I don't know you, I'm probably going to have you on 15 minutes before and say, hey, look, we're going to ask this, and this. And honestly, if I don't know you, I'm probably the first thing I'm going to ask you is there anything you don't want me to ask about? Or I'm going to give you a list of questions so that
Gotcha.
you can approve or disprove something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because on one time,
Mm-hmm.
man, we have folks on, and sometimes people don't want to talk about certain things, other things they do, or they may not be able to talk about it. So if it's a special guest like that, right, then I'm gonna go over a list with them. So even before the show, hey, is there things you want me to ask? I'm gonna give them a list of questions. They choose what they want to answer. That's what we're gonna go with. Um, and then I'll still have them on 15 minutes before the show, just so that they can meet everybody. You know what I mean? Meet everybody in the panel, and everybody's good, and then we'll do it. If I know you, again, 5 minutes and you're on because we work together. So you know how I work, I know you, right? If it's another podcaster, like for example, there's some podcasters I would call friends. So Chris A1 from A1 Forever, I would say is a good friend. And so if I have him on, I mean that's just like family. So he's gonna look, man. Get the link and hop on. Like there's no like he's like family. You get what I'm saying? Jack Spade. Jack, I don't have to talk about any. Jack, just come on the show, right? These are guys I know, guys I work with. Again, uh, Berto or Big Low or Uncle Steve. I've talked to these guys so much, I'm comfortable with them. So they don't need 15 minutes. They just need a link. They're gonna hop on the show. Now, if it's somebody that I don't know, that I've never worked with before, well, first off, I need to kind of give them the expectations as to, okay, I'm gonna ask this, this, and this is what's going down. So that's it. That's pretty much how we
You
do it.
have a do you have a dream guest that you want that you really want on your show that be on your show? You have a dream guest. I mean, the guy you with out, the guy you with you out. Who was the number one dream person that you
Dream
want to be
guest
on your
for
show
myself. Wow. That's
that really want
that's a good question. You know, that's a good. Maybe I'm such a narcissist. I've never thought. I'm kidding. Um,
to?
I mean, that's a good question. So my dream guest for my show,
I mean,
uh,
who it is?
it's probably not even a sports person. I mean, if
Yeah,
we're
it
talking
must be a fourth person. It want to be a fourth person.
Denzel Washington,
Oh,
yeah, because I think he's a phenomenal actor.
mm.
I think he's a phenomenal person. You know what I mean? I think he's a phenomenal man. Like I love everything that Denzel is about. So if we're talking dream guest, now of course, you know, he's not coming on my show, but I'm saying dream guest, right? In the
Yeah,
dream
Dwayne.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be Denzel Washington. Why not? I mean, why not? He's like,
why
I
not?
mean, I could, you know what I mean, have him do like different reasons. Oh my, that would be great. That would be great. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Denzel on my show? You fumble the football, you run a mile. You
Look at the
block,
view come blow up.
run a
Look at the
mile.
view come blow up.
No, wait,
My
what did he say? No, he said, okay, wait. You miss a block, you run a mile. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You fumble my football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. Perfection. What I want to do. I want this to come on my show.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna call Coach. In matter of fact, you not gonna call Coach Bone one day and get him
Coach
on that
Bo,
show.
Coach
Coach Bone.
Bo, Coach Bo, strong side, left side. That'd be great, man. Yeah, I'm putting cases on all you. I'm putting cases on you. You going to Pelican Bay. That would be my ideal. That'd be great, man. Not that he would do it. I mean, whatever.
have you have you met any celebrities at have you met any celebrities
Yeah,
that you wanted? Yeah.
I met a lot of football players. I met a lot of football,
Uh,
and you know, I mean,
it, it,
you get to it, huh?
During the you said you been a Falcons fan for 8 years. Who have who was the very first Falcon player have you ever met?
The first
Through the
person,
years, through the years.
yeah, first person I met was probably Jamal Anderson, and he was
Thirty
huge.
bird man.
He was
Because
huge.
the reason I'm going to tell you that because he was in the mountain today.
Oh,
He
really?
was some yeah. Him and Michael Jenkins. And
Okay.
I was gonna go over there and get him. I was going. My thought was I was going to do an interview with him, but the thing was that my mom actually looked it up and said the autograph is $50.
Okay.
The autograph is $50, and the taking pictures is $100. $100. I'm like, never forget it. Ain't there's no chance you gonna spend $100 on a picture with Jamal Anderson. There's no way.
Hey, man, if you got it like that, you got it like that. But no, I met him like 24 years ago at a Best Buy in Gwinnett, and he was cool. Now, when I met him, he was huge. I mean, he's first of all, he's not tall. He's like 5'2", but his chest. Oh my God! One of his legs was like a tree trunk. So when I met him and I shook his hand, I shook his arm because he put his
Wow.
hand, his whole hand, like took my hand up and swallowed it, right? And I'm like, Mr. Anderson, how you doing? And it was like, call me Jamal. And I was like, cool. I met him and an offensive lineman, and the offensive
Mhm.
lineman is huge, but he's an offensive. But I'm telling you, Jamal at that time, he was a Hulk. I could see why it was hard to hit him because the only thing coming at you is shoulder pads and knee pads. He's so low to the ground. Like, bro, let me tell you something. I'm not hitting that man. If I can't sweep him or trip him up, that's a business decision. Because the minute I go and put my shoulder on him, I'm out. He's gonna pop my shoulder out. That dude was huge. He was huge. But he was cool. So he was like my first. I met a lot of Falcons since then, and I tell you who I really liked. I mean, I liked all of the Falcons, but I really like Mohamed Sanu. So we had him as a guest on One Time for the Fan, and I love what he's about. Like he really is about giving back to the community. A lot of people say that, but he is really about that life. And I then met him at a Falcons game, and he took the time, took a picture with me. He didn't charge me $100 either, but he was cool, man. I really like Mohamed Sanu. Like I think he's just really cool. He sends resources back to Africa, where a lot of they don't have a lot of resources. They don't
Right,
have the
right.
internet in a lot of places, and he's setting that up. And his charity, I think he's from, what I don't know. I don't want to mess it up, but wherever he's from in Africa, I know they did not have internet, and so his charity was putting that together, putting together schools, making sure they have access. And he's just one of those that he walks it like he talks it, and I respect him. But really cool guy, and I really enjoyed meeting him.
I think the first, if I ask that same question, I met Dan Reeves first time. I mean,
How was
I
that?
was, but I was in middle school, and one of my PD teachers said that we got the prize for you. It was just like 6 bucks, and next time, no, we didn't. I thought it was gonna be a trip to the firm bank or somewhere to eat. So no, we went to the game. Okay, went to the game. We had VIP. I mean, we went straight to the field, the sidelines,
Wow.
and Dangly was a cool. Dangly is nice. I mean, he was cool. He was a
Mhm.
little rough on the edges, but other than that, he was nice and he was a but I don't say a very he don't wear suits. I'll tell you that, but he was cool. He took a picture. We didn't. I'm sure we didn't pay $100 for that picture, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I mean, we actually sat behind the we actually sat behind on the 50 yard line behind behind the Falcons. I don't know.
Mhm.
Oh, that's nice. So that was my first trip. It was at the dome actually. It was at the dome actually. So, but it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, if he should stay there a little longer, we should won a couple championships, but ain't no big deal. So. But other than that, what do you have any kind of advice for? Do you have any advice for upcoming? I won't say sports analysts
Mhm.
or anything for they want to start their YouTube channel for sports analysts and talking about sports and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, follow your heart. Follow your heart. Make sure you love it. Make sure you love it because this is a daily grind, and you know this, Jared. I mean, you were talking about opening up your third YouTube channel, which I think is great. I have a hard enough time with the one I got, so I got a I got I got a second one that I'm opening up where we're gonna talk about movies because I love movies, right? So I'm
Let's,
not.
let's talk
That's gonna
about
be the
that. When,
second
when,
one.
when that look. Go ahead.
Well,
What you gonna do on that second channel while we up?
so yeah, basically we're just gonna talk about movies. We're gonna talk about old movies, new movies, a lot of Marvel, some Star Wars, a lot of romantic comedy, like just movies in general.
Okay.
Some important to the culture. But yeah, I love movies. So I've been saying that I would do, and you know how it is, right? I would. This thing was in construction like 3 months ago, but I've been so busy with this. You only got so much time in the day, right? Because I gotta work, I got a family, I gotta take care of them, I can't look at them and be like, hey, we're gonna have podcasts for dinner. And let's let's give the power man some of this podcast, and let's give the mortgage man, you know what I mean? You got to pay bills. So
Right,
between work
right.
and this, like it's only so much time in the day, right? So yeah, man. But I'm looking forward to it, like because three things I love, right? Well, fourth thing, obviously, I love God because He's been so good to me. This has been a rough year, and He just carried me through it. But I love
Amen.
my family. I love my wife. I love my kids, friends. Um, I love sports and I love movies. And I like books too, but books would probably be fifth on my list. But so yeah, I want to give it a different perspective, right? Like there's like, for example, just to give you a quick example, and again, I'm not gonna bore you because
No.
people are probably like, I tuned in to talk about sports. I want to talk about movies. I don't care about that, T. Will. What are you doing? Supposed to be talking about comics. I don't give a damn about no movie. Well, I do. So, um, all right. So you know who Al Pacino is, right?
Mhm.
All right. Who doesn't know who Al Pacino is? All right. So Al Pacino is probably my favorite actor, not named Denzel. Like, because I'm old. I'm old as hell. I'm 54. I'm old. I'm old. I'm like before cell phones old. I'm like I used to have a beeper on my hip old. Old, right? I'm like rotary dial old. When I was a little kid, we used to used to rotary dial. That's how old I am, right?
You
So
and I the same age.
damn, for real? I look old
No,
as hell.
I'm just.
Derek, what's your secret?
I, I,
What's
I
your
was born
you
in
must
80.
still be a foundation.
I was
You
born in 82. And I'm 42 now. So I
oh
remember
okay.
those days. I remember those days when with the
But you look
go
35.
phones and pay
You look 30,
phones and
you look
beepers.
35. I need to know what you're doing because I look 68. You look 35. I need to know
People
what
think
you're doing.
People think I'm 18, but
I know. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I need to know what you're doing. I need to know what you're doing. I was in the store the other day. I was buying some alcohol, and the lady's like, "Put that away. We already know. Put your idea away. We already know." But we know. Probably thinking, "Yo, old." No. Okay, seriously. Back to movie. No. Yeah, back to movies. All right, I gotta behave. Um, so a lot of people love Al Pacino in Scarface, right? Scarface was a jerk, man. I mean, I like the movie, but Scarface was a jerk. I as a person, he just was a jerk. So for me, my favorite Al Pacino movie is Carlito's Way, right? And I've never really seen Carlito's Way get the press that it should. It was a great movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, Carlito is essentially in the beginning. It takes place in the 70s, I think in 1975. And he gets out of jail on a technicality and he's trying to go straight. But all of his past influences are trying to pull him back into the game. But what makes the movie so good is the narration, right? The narration is great. So it starts out with him saying, somebody's pulling me close to the ground. I'm gonna be all right. I've been here before. My Puerto Rican ass ain't supposed to live this far, but it's the narration that makes it so good. And I think that's probably going to be one of my first podcasts just on that movie and just to rate it. Not, I got friends or whatever that like movies, but I want to do that. A lot of Marvel movies. Probably going to do one on the Joker 1 and 2 because that was interesting. Like that second one really sucked. It really did. But when you really think about it, I understand what they were trying to do, right? But the point is, because I don't want to get off the point, because you get me going, man. It'd be 3 hours, and I'll still be like, and the
Well,
Joker. So we're not here for that. But yeah, I want to do a podcast on movies. Now that's probably not going to be a weekly one. It might be
mm,
bi-weekly. It might be once a month. I don't know because it depends on time. But That to me would just be fun, right? I haven't formulated the concept for the show yet. I'm still kind of getting it together in my mind, but I want to do that. Whether it sucks or not, it probably will suck, but whatever. You got to do it. I mean, that's life. You got to do it. If you got something in your heart, you got to do it. You might fail, and failure is okay. You can fail your way to success. You know what I mean? Because I might fail at that, and I might discover something else and discover something else. So I'm interviewing. That my daughter is coming in here asking me something. What's up? Huh? Huh? Oh, yeah. That's okay. It's in there. Sorry. That's my youngest daughter. She's like, "Can I use your?" And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Because I'm looking at her like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I want to start. I have started. So the channel's up. I just haven't done anything with it, right? Which I hate. I hate wasted anything. But yeah, I'm trying to get
But
into it. I'm sorry. Go
the,
ahead.
que- the question is, are you gonna do a full movie? Are you doing a movie review or a reaction video of the movie?
No, there won't be any video. It'll just be like a movie review, right? Because I
Okay.
don't know how to. I don't know how to get around not being sued. I, I, I mean, you might be able to do that. You might be bad like that, Jared. I don't know, but I don't want those folks looking for me. Look, I got
Right.
123 subscribers. I'm not on that level. So hey, I'm just talking about it. Hey, this week, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Carlito's Way. Blah 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 blah. Let's get into it. I'm not going to be showing any scenes. Hopefully they saw it already. You know what I mean? Maybe I need to put that in the caps. Hey, or maybe if they didn't, guess what? My review will get them to see it. You know what I mean? I mean, look, there's just certain movies I'm excited about. So let's do this. Let me ask you this question. Give me your top 5 movies that you like.
My top 5 movies I
Top
like:
five, just off the rip. Top 5.
Remember Titans, Longest Yard, Deadpool and Wolverine, Cookout.
The Cookout was fun.
I'm cooking. You know that
Deadpool was
movie back in the day. Cookout. They all don't make those like that more.
no, they don't.
Um, and every movie from Fast and Furious. Then they're gonna that
Except
never
for that,
ending Fast and
that
Furious,
last one.
that never ending
Yeah,
saga
man.
of Fast and Furious. I don't like it.
Bro, it'll
That's
be a
it.
Fast and Furious 38. It'll be 20
Oh my
years.
god.
Fast and Furious
Well,
38. And it'll be from an old folks home. It'll be Vin Diesel on the scooter, like, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Excuse me. But yeah, no, so all right. So my top 5. What was the first one you said?
Remember Titans.
I love. Oh,
That one
all
that
right.
filmed at my soul. That's
I
why.
love. I love Remember the Titans. I think that was one of the greatest movies. But because it's in your top 5, I'm not going to put it in my top 5 because we both know we love it. We know. All right. So my top 5. Number 1 for me would probably be Pulp Fiction, just because that is the best time that my youngest brother and I ever had in life. So my youngest brother and I have the same month.
Same thing.
So what?
No one asked you. Thought I'm not gonna cut on.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
nobody.
cut. That same with.
They speak English or what? Say what again? Say what one more? I dare you. I double dog dare you. Oh, that was funny. So my brother and I have this obnoxious laugh that we got from our mom. Thank you, mom. It's obnoxious. It is obnoxious, and I really thought we were going to get kicked out of that movie because we laughed so hard. Now, Pulp Fiction is not for everybody,
Right.
but man, that was funny. That was just that is the best time I've ever had with my youngest brother. Like we laughed so hard I had a headache for 3 days, man. Like it was just because it was a great movie, just the way it was shot. Because the cool thing about Pulp Fiction, the first scene is actually the last scene, sequentially, right? In regards to the story. it's totally different. Samuel Jackson, as far as I'm concerned, deserved an Oscar for that
He
movie.
does. He
He
does.
was that good. It was just funny, right? So that would be number one for me. Number two, probably going to be the Shawshank Redemption. Because it's a story about persistence, right? So that might be number two for me. Number three would probably be Avengers Endgame. Number four, another Denzel Washington flick would be Crimson Tide, which is an old movie about two
Mine,
naval.
mine. Oh, then there is Out of Time with him and Salon Nathan.
Yeah, I like Out of Time too. I like that. Now I
Yeah,
wouldn't put that in my top five, but
it's
I
not
did
a top. It's not a top five, but it's
But
one of the
but
top
I
10 on
get
my
that.
list.
I like that because it was so much going on, right? He had that was a. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have been like,
Same
oh,
day.
I'm the chief police officer, but I'm being investigated, so I got to investigate it, but I got to not implicate myself. It was a lot going on. But yeah, so Crimson Tide is a movie about two naval officers who are on this sub, and they are deep under, and they receive a message, and the message gets cut off. And so one of the naval officers thinks, okay, we have to launch a bomb against Russia. And Denzel is saying, no, we don't know that. We need to make sure. I think it's Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. But anyway, the movie is about these two and what they go through, because one set of folks feels like, well, the last order we got was to fire the bomb. So in an
Mm-hmm.
instant where you don't have your next orders, you go with the last order. And Denzel is like, look, we're not taking out trash here. We're talking about launching a nuclear bomb. We need to get this right. We need to fix this cable, go up and get this message and make sure. And it's a great story. Great story. And I think it really happened. But anyway, that's probably number four for me. And then number five, so many movies. Probably gonna say Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. Yeah, Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, yep,
Monkey!
that's it, yep. You on it, yep, you
Monkey!
on that. You on that one. You on that.
So yeah,
But
that,
I want to thank you for coming up here. I know we're probably talking about sports, but hey, we don't talk about anything. But I appreciate you coming up here on my channel and getting off your busy schedule. I know you've been working nonstop and everything, and it's I know you're gonna have another busy schedule. I know you're gonna have no time off, no way, no way. So you have any final remarks or suggestions you want to tell to my audience before we leave?
well, first and foremost, if you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed this channel, please do. This young man is out here working hard. He's out here trying to do it, man. He's trying to build up his creation and his channel, and I think he should be supported. Look, you got to respect the hustle, right? You get up and get after it every day. You got to respect it. So, I would say, hey, like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and tell your friends. As far as me, hey, I'm just out here trying to do it. You know what I mean? If you guys like sports, if you're into the Falcons, hey, come check me out for my ATL Sports One. Again, the number 4, my ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Yeah, man, come check me out. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me too. We talk about the Falcons and the Hawks and the Braves and the United and the Bulldogs. Go Dogs. Yeah, so it's a different perspective on the Falcons. Well, maybe it might not be different. I don't know. I don't know your perspective, but yeah, we typically get after that, and we try and have fun. Look it, we all got lives. You're not tuning in to be bored. Well, I hope I'm
Right.
not. I hope I'm not. I don't know. I haven't had anybody say your show's boring. I've had somebody tell me my show sucks, but that was my
Oh,
wife.
but after that, you ever
Yeah.
get people come to your channel that hey your channel boring or anything? You ever get those? You
I don't
don't.
get, I don't get because usually they're not going to tell you. They're just not going to subscribe. So I don't know. Maybe they thought it, but no. But no, somebody did tell me my show sucked. But that was my wife. We were in an argument, so she was getting me, like, "If your show sucks," and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I don't like your mac and cheese. How about that?" But yeah, I did. The look on your face. The look on your face right now. It is priceless. It is priceless. Oh my God. Well, look it. I don't like mac and cheese anyway, right? Now, I love everything my wife cooks, but I'm just not I should say cheese does not like me. And you know where I'm going with it. So, but yeah, no, because we were mad. I forget we were arguing about. We were arguing about something.
I hope she's not listening to this conversation because you know you're gonna get put up.
We've been married 31 years, man. I ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere.
You gonna put the doghouse.
I live in the dog, bro. I live in the doghouse. I got cable in my doghouse. I'll be all right.
Oh,
I got a whole couch in my doghouse. Look, she knows I'm. You have to be able to play with each other. You know, I guess I was lucky enough. I married my friend, right? So like we can play with each other. Like you can't be so serious. You know what I mean? You can't just be like. I mean, you gotta look it. My aunt told me a long time ago, friends can be lovers, but lovers always can't be friends. You get what I'm saying?
facts,
If you
facts.
marry your friend, you got a better chance. First and foremost, you don't need to be unequally yoked, right? So
Right.
for me, I prayed for God to send me a wife. I dated somebody and woo, she took me through it. And after her, I was like, God, just send me somebody. I don't want to go through this no more. I don't want to go through it. But young T Will was hell. Young T Will was hell. And God sent me somebody, and she was patient. Lord knows she was patient. 'Cause I didn't have bitter sense. Lord Jesus. I accidentally met my wife. and yeah, man, she's been real patient. But you gotta marry your friend, right? You gotta marry your friend. You gotta be going in the same direction. So we can talk and joke and like she knows me. She knows my personality. So this would not surprise her at all. You know what I mean? And she did. I told her she hurt my feelings when she said that about my show. And she was like, well, I was just mad. I was like, but you hurt my feelings. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But the fun
I was gonna ask. Well, since you brought it up, did she ever watch your?
yeah, she does.
You ever watch your show?
Matter of fact, she gives me ideas. So I should have been like, well, it sucks because because half of the ideas on there are yours. But I wasn't in that. I didn't think about it quick enough. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you saw what?
I said, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I said, that would have stung, but I wasn't like I was so hurt that she said it, right? I forget what we were arguing about. We were arguing about something. And it came up because I was like, look, hurry up, man. I gotta do this show. And she was like, bump your show. Your show suck anyway. And I was like, like I was hurt. Like I was like, ah. And so the only thing I could think of was macaroni. I was like, well, I don't like your mac and cheese. Yeah. She got all right, man. Look, we've
You
been
know
together.
what? You know what? I'm thinking you don't have to get a couple channel or something. Y'all have to sit down and have marriage. Have
Oh
a.
no. My wife ain't got to like that. My wife is not because my wife is private, right? Like I'm
Okay.
not. I wouldn't say I'm a private person, but like there's certain things she's not gonna do that on camera. You get what I'm saying? So I would, and I wouldn't want America in my marriage anyway. Like some things need to be personal, but no, because probably half the time y'all probably would side. Most of the time y'all probably side with her, and then I'd be pissed off with y'all. I'd be like, y'all don't understand. Yeah, we do. We see you every day. You still don't understand, damn it. You know what happens when the camera cuts off. And now I'm mad with America. So no, they don't need to.
Hey, let's get on that here, man. We'll get you out of here and get you to work tomorrow because I got a little lot tomorrow night anyway. And
Okay.
this guy is from Canada, so I
Who's
want you
gonna be
to
on your live tomorrow? Who's gonna be on your live tomorrow?
there's a guy named Paralyzed TB. He's in a wheelchair. He's actually
Okay.
paralyzed from the waist down. So he's gonna be on my show from Newfoundland, Canada. So here's the time difference up here from Atlanta to Canada, they are an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, they
So I'm
are.
going to go live at 7 o'clock. He has to be live at 8. So I'm gonna get him back here about 7:45 my time. Yeah, 7:45 my time. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be here tomorrow night, and then I got 3 more. I got 2 more. The 28th, the last one, I got y'all. So I'll be here. I am going live tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow. Monday, the 23rd, on the bit channel. So I'll be there on the 23rd on the bit channel, and then the rest of the week I am done. So the 28th, the last interview, and the last day on YouTube until January 6th, which
Okay.
I pick up my first interview on Monday night at 6 o'clock. So
Okay.
that the grind does not stop. I'm be working behind the scenes like y'all be here, but everything else, I never stop. So if you like you
I know
said,
that
make sure
grind.
you like, share, subscribe, and make sure you I'm almost 1 point now on the bit channel.
I
So
saw that. Congratulations.
I'm I'm almost there. So I'm working. I'm gonna do my best to get to 2K, and then when I get there, I'm gonna buy everybody. I'm gonna buy everybody, including you. I'll make sure you're gonna be in the chat. I'll
Okay.
make sure you come because I want the whole gang coming there. 'Cause I want my 2K celebration be massive. So I
Hey,
want it.
there, man. I'm there. And congratulations, by the way. Congratulations, because I know that's a lot of hard work. I know what that's like. I'm at 123, and I know the hell I go through, so I can only imagine. Hey, kudos to you, man. Congratulations. Bless God.
But
Congratulations.
but
That's awesome.
say,
That is
but say.
awesome.
So I'm going ahead and get you out of here, and I'll go ahead and finish up my remarks and everything. So I see y'all. I see you, and maybe I would love to have you back if you
Of course.
down for it. So on this
Oh,
time, you talk to your boys because I need them on my channel too. So you talk to them if they're free, you tell them they like, hey, come look. Jerry talk when I do an
do
interview with you, man.
do you want us all, or do you want us like? Because I don't know that you want all of us on the show like that. That's
No, I want the Chris. Who is it? Chris and
yeah.
yeah, yes,
Okay. I'll tell them.
yes.
I'll tell them all.
Oh,
I
okay,
will.
cool.
Yeah, no
All right,
problem.
cool.
Thank you for
All
having
right,
me,
so
Jerry. Take that.
no problem, no problem.
All right.
All right. Y'all, that's my boy Gideon. I know we can go over time and everything, but it was good conversation about sports, movies, everything else, and I'm gonna have my little guests. I'm gonna have them like other guests from the ATL gang and everything else. So, but other than that, it was a great time to see him and thing. So the next interview will be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. With Shane Parent Life Everyday TV from Canada, and that will start at 7 because his time difference is hour ahead of us. It's hour ahead of me. So instead of going live at 6 on my usual time, I will be going live at 7, and he will be ready, and it'll be 8 o'clock his time. So I will be here 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. I will have Shane be ready at 7:45 his time, 6:45 my time. So we get him up here and get ready to roll. So this live be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then the 28th I will have another guest, a church guest, and after that, after that interview, I'm done until January 6th. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, share, everything. Like share it out, and make sure you subscribe to my bit channel too. So you keep updated with me and about my life, everything what we're planning to do on my bit channel, and yeah. So other than that, I am gone, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm out. Get toss out. Peace.